Well, hey guys, this one is wild. I know you're going to like it, but I'll tell you what. This load kicked my ass. Yesterday we had it all loaded weird. They gave me dimensions, weights, everything, and the nomenclature plates. They all seem to be a little bit off since I have the 51-foot steps. So let's take a look. It killed me. It was 102 degrees in South Carolina, or whatever the heck, and trying to get all this stuff tied down. I took my time getting it all loaded up. I get to the scale, flipping spread axle is overweight, so I had to go back, had to pull it all off and then reverse it. So what was really strange, and that really made me kind of bummed out, is because I went by what the weights that they gave me and where they were sitting, because where they were ended up at is the one tire was up near the light on the front, on the middle piece. I estimated my weight should have been about 38,000. So when I got to the scale, the gross showed 79,080 pounds. They said it was a 43,000 pound load, and basically they lied. It was more like 46, and we're awful close to it because I had only 5/8 tank of fuel. If I put on 100 gallons, that's 700 pounds. So figuring out all the weights and trying to load it correctly according to what they give me, just know that it isn't always accurate. Even though they claim that these plates and the weights are correct, who knows? You know, they have to import them. These are Italian units. They're really nice looking. They articulate and crab and crawl and all this other stuff, and they're boom trucks. I thought I was getting forked lifts, but that's just me, not forked boom trucks. So it's a totally different ball game. I didn't have a lot left on the trailer, but we did change things around a little bit to make it to where it's the hot ticket. Most of the time you'll see tie-down eyes on a lot of this equipment. In this particular case, there really wasn't anything. I got some up there, but the whole reasoning behind that is like, okay, you can use that to lift, but what about tie-down? Because when you're looking at trying to come down here, how are you supposed to go through this tire and this fender? How are we supposed to get there? You guys can see that, okay? Where am I supposed to go with that? It's gonna, as soon as I hit that, it's gonna touch this. Put that chain on there, it's gonna grab this. This is plastic. This is steel. That's not gonna work. So that was out. Luckily, we had holes in the frame on the steel welded plate that are probably half-inch steel plate, and I had to go with those. Rental units, but they're brand new. I want to make sure that I try not to put anything, a bunch of damage on there. I have to make contact with the unit with a chain. There's just no way around it. So this is what I did. And I have a pull back this way. This one went a little bit forward. It is this direction. It's probably going to hold just fine. I would have much rather had something back over here, but there's nothing. You know, there is absolutely nothing. I see a lot of business in there, but anytime you have a plate with bolts on it, you can't use it, yeah, in my view, because it's not, you know, totally solid, and that's pretty thin plate, but there's other thicker ones that are bolted on, but I wouldn't use them. I wanted something that was welded part of the frame. That's just me. That's a lot of weight to put on something that happens to be bolted, and I'm not going to do it. So These chains are tight, and I'll be checking. I only went a few miles here to the Flying J, and I did not drive anywhere. I didn't do a thing. I was too tired. I was exhausted. I was thoroughly, completely soaked with perspiration, clean through. Because I had to go back and redo it, and they waited for me, and it was till 5 o'clock when I got out of there. Okay, here's your strap for your fork. Everyone has to have one of these. And you can see how close we are. We are super close. This is the only tie-down unit section that I was able to use. And this is with the blanks and the tread. This is where I had to put my strap. But each boom requires one of these. You know, anything that's like that kind of thing is hydraulic. I had to use 14 chains and binders. That's all I had left. I mean, I could have ripped off stuff off of my lumber and tried to come up with some other kind of strapping. But I used every piece of equipment I had to get these. These are just crazy. Really nice units. I mean, it would be nice to have one of these, but, you know, a little bucket on the front or something. Let's take a look inside of here. We got the same thing. I'm going to get up in here, and I had to crawl under this equipment and squeeze under here with my fat ass to get these chains in there. So that is a really good spot, and you can see there's others. So that's the best I could do for that, because having something at the rear and pulling down is great, but also having these neutral like this. Now I couldn't do any crisscrossing. You can't do in this situation. Here's our strap again. See how very close we are. So now here they've got a marked tie down section. However, if you don't have a shackle, they designed it. If they'd have made it oval where I could have got a chain through, that would have been nice. 5/16 chain wouldn't even go through there. So that's just poor design. So you'd have to take your chains apart. I'm not going to do all that. I already spent a ton of time on this thing, and I just went with whatever grab I could get, which is this steel plate here. It's all welded to as part of it. So it is a good grab there. I've got some tie-down ones that are oval up there, but having it down low here is good too. And this helps control, and it's got a good grab. Now this one I have 6 chains on because of the size, but it's similar to what I would do on a Genie lift, except, you know, these guys I use 2 5/16, and I use snap binders or lever binders. This first, you haven't used those in a long time. They've been hanging on my truck for years. I don't use them that often, but I've just happened to be able to get 2 5/16 in there and pull neutral side to side with it here. So the center of gravity and balance is low on these guys from all the steel, so having the tie downs down low are good too. Now in this situation, because if you look up through here, there's not a lot of other places to go. Let me see if I can get up here. Now these, we originally were doing our best to try and get, when they were loaded before, I had the hydraulics down, and then the rams were set on the deck, and I had everything wrapped through down here with chain way down there, and it was all flat, but it was a super low grab, and it was tight. But there's the 2 marks. We were able to use them finally. That's great. So what I did was just come right out here to the upper deck, and it made for a short grab, but it also pulls. You could hear the tire squealing a little bit as I pulled it in there, and it's definitely up against it, so it's super tight. Here's our other strap up on my top deck where they put the boom. And you can see how big the boom is, and it was not a problem, but it's got the required strap. Excuse me. In the sun. So they are really nice units. If you guys can see, there is no other places really to go. You don't want to mess with anything like that or put anything near a hydraulic line or any kind of other electrical. Now I had also, we turned the mirrors in so it wouldn't take rock strikes, because that can happen. It would shatter one. Let me see if I get a shot from the other side. And it's pretty squared away. Everything's good and tight. I only went a few miles, but I did do some twisty turning. And you can see the mirrors are turned down here. And the one's back in the back there, and one up here. Yeah, these are all good and tight. It's hotter than hell down here. See, we got the mirror turned down. It's turned in so it would stay away from winds at 65 miles an hour and bouncing, you know, because I could kick up a rock if the mirror was out here and facing the glasses really bad. I don't know if I could really do much with it or not. It's going to just kind of sit there. So it's kind of moving, but this is a spring-loaded deal there. Yeah, this is good and tight. You know, I could kick up a rock and break it, so let's try not to do that. So what we did was large, and small, and medium. And it probably actually would have went better with small or large, medium, and then small. But it's just the 51-foot trailer. It's weird. I really like this. I would love to have one, but so stuff happens when you get misinformation. It can happen to anybody, but it's going to end up costing you a ton of time. If you're on an onboard recorder, you're screwed. You know, I've only got to do 550 miles. If I had to do a lot more and try and be there by Monday, it would have completely screwed my delivery from this kind of mess right here. But we're going to get it. I took my rest break. I figured there's no way after being baked in the sun for 10 hours or whatever the hell it was I going to drive after that. There was no flipping away. And then, of course, the prostitutes had to come beat on my door at 2 o'clock in the morning. That pissed me off. I think they could hear me through the walls of the sleeper and get the fuck away from my truck, that kind of stuff. It's like, oh my God, just leave me the hell alone. Yeah, looks like all the other mirrors are in good shape, in line here, and it should be all right. Trying to keep everything squared away where it's not screwed up. Now I may turn that one back, but I think it might be okay. I just don't want the glass facing forward. Well, this is it. This is a good one. Yeah, trouble happens. Doesn't make any difference how many years you've been doing this. You know, if somebody gives you misinformation, you load it according to what they tell you, and it ends up being screwed, then who ended up paying? Well, guess who? You know, that person has probably never loaded a truck, and they just, you know. So, half those guys that you deal with out here, some of them are former truck drivers, but most of them are just office people or people that just work right there on the equipment, and they've never had to load, tie down, and drive and deliver this kind of stuff. So you just have to do what you can do, guess what you can guess, and hope for the best. So it's pretty straightforward. We went through all the chains, all the grabs. You've seen them. That is key part of the video there, so you'll know what the hell to do, where to look. There's more to it than just an approved grab. If you can find something that's on a steel plate, especially on equipment that's going out to a customer for rental purposes like that, what I'm getting at is people beat the living dog shit out of rental stuff that like they don't care about it. But if you can keep it clean and where it looks great on the showroom floor, good. Use the grabs that are underneath. The chain grabs that are given to you, there's nothing you can do about them. In most cases, there's going to be some ding paint because you have to chain it down. And then customers understand that. It's just the way it is. When I got it, I hadn't even touched it yet. It had already had chain marks on it. So it had come from probably the port, and they had chained it down and delivered it to the actual customer there. Then they prepped them for sale out to the different rental companies, and that's what I'm looking at, because these guys were the actual importer. It was really pretty cool. We got to talk to them and check it out. Now these units inside, I'm not going to climb up there, but they're really nice. The little cabs there, all the articulating, it's like a, you've got like a joystick, and it's pretty squared away. Well, just shut up. I'm going to get my shower. I got a long ass day ahead of me on I-77 all the way north. A lot of mountains, a lot of hills. I'm 79,000, probably 79,800 pounds with fuel. So we're going to have a fun day today. We'll get an overall shot of the load. You kind of see it. It's pretty cool. And because they crab walk, and articulate both sets of wheels, these things can get on there cattywampus. And it's an offset cab. So that guy's off center. He can't see over there. So that's a tip for you guys when you're watching or loading. You might want to be up there to give a sign, either way, how to crab walk the thing onto the trailer. Watch your marks and your lanes on your like the wood and the colored metal, and that'll help you guide a little bit. And that's about the only tips I could give you. Well, we'll see you on the road, guys.